Hello, everybody. Again, thanks a lot to Michael and the SEA for allowing me to present BAE Systems perspective. Wanted to start with an overview of BAE Systems and who we are. So again, following Dan, you can look at all the pictures. Those are the things we make. A lot of folks don't know the full breadth of BAE Systems and what we do globally, but we're the prime on all of those things. And then besides that, here in the US and Australia and a few of the other our home markets, we have some significant other businesses like our electronics and information and services, et cetera. So we are one of the largest globally defense companies. The top half of these bullets are BAE Systems as a global company, and the bottom half is as it pertains to the BAE Systems Inc. business, which is the US-based entity, but we have employees all over the world also. So as a global company, we're 100,000 employees, 35 billion in sales, second largest global defense company, et cetera. You can look through all the, all the metrics. So that's the global company. And then at Inc., we're about half of the business. The US portion of this is about half of the business. We're 46,000 employees that report up through the US business. Again, but we have employees and businesses all over the world that report up through BAE Systems Inc. We have $18 billion of sales in the Inc. business and major operations all over the world. This is who we are as a global company. We have home markets in those areas right there. The US, of course, and England, Saudi Arabia, India, and Australia, and as well as a significant presence in Sweden, South Africa, and some other countries. Wanted to talk about our org structure, again, just so you can see who we are. The far left, the blue, is where I report up through, and again, that's BAE Systems Inc. Again, just in rough terms, about half of the business. Programs and support is in the middle, and that's, the two on the right, programs and support and international, are the non-Inc. businesses. In Inc., which is headquartered in Arlington, which is where I sit and report most days, we have a few large businesses. The first one is Land and Armaments, which is we build armored vehicles, armaments, weapon systems, et cetera. Electronic Systems, that's headquartered in Nashua, New Hampshire, and has businesses all over the states. Intelligence and Security is in Herndon, and Support Solutions is in Rockville. And Intelligence and Security is self-explanatory, and Support Solutions is a services business that is located all over the place. We essentially have folks at all of our customer locations as part of that business. There we go. Here are not going to go through this whole chart, but just so we report up through Linda Hudson, who's at the bottom right of this chart, and she's the CEO of Inc., BAE Systems Inc. And then this is the Inc. leadership. Again, just trying to show you who we are, and if you have a name, if you get a copy of the slides, you can know where to go from a who to contact kind of perspective. And I get into I'll show the procurement contacts later on in this. Okay, Dan had mentioned their values, and again, here's our three that we live by and embrace and try to model every day. Trusted, innovative, and bold. That's the three things that we try to live by up through our customers internally with all our our peer employees, and then out to our suppliers. And specifically, and I mentioned it yesterday as it pertains to here, we not only want to be our customer's preferred supplier, we want to be our supplier's preferred customer. And lots of that is trust, credibility, information, all those things I mentioned during the panel yesterday. Technology, obviously, it's critical in this business. We're leading edge, try to be leading edge in all the areas that we have businesses in. So here, now I just wanted to, the first part of that was just to make sure everyone knows who BAE Systems is as a global company and how the breadth of our products and services. Here's how we operate as a supply chain. And the second half of this presentation is going to be, who we are and what it means to you folks, okay? So again, BAE Systems, we were a $1 billion, I'll say the Inc. BAE Systems Inc. was a $1 billion company in 2000 and is now, as you saw, $19 billion in 2010. I mean, that's significant growth. And it started out, it was a very specific strategy in 2000. Mark Ronald, our CEO at the time, had a very specific target of growth, both organic growth and inorganic growth, the acquisition growth. So a lot of it has been through acquisition, a lot of our growth. So which means we have acquire a business, they do all this awesome stuff. We bought them because they're an awesome company. They have a leader of supply chain and they do great things. But they also have their uniquenesses and nuances and those kinds of things. And then we buy another company. So we have over the years, this legacy of companies of history in BAE Systems that literally go back to the 1600s if you really followed it back to the folks that were providing the weapons to the king back in England back in the 1600s. In fact, if you ever go to the Tower of London, there's a little thing there on one of our businesses. It's funny, but the point of that is that we had over the years we have all these businesses that it's an integration process plus pick the best of practices kind of thing. But there's also, again, uniquenesses and nuances that we have to manage, and that's a difficult thing on how to do that. So how do we govern that? We do it by council. These are globally the senior folks in the supply chain that get together and figure out, okay, what things are we going to do together and where there's synergies, and what things are we going to do basically individually. So, on one extreme, I'll say laptops, we can do very globally. Moving down a level, I'll say travel is very region-centric. So there's a US travel and a European travel and a Far East travel. So those things are a level down, et cetera. And then you get down to one of the specific businesses and they have a very niche technology that nobody else uses. So they work on their own strategy there and just proceed. So that's basically how we operate. We look at all the stuff you buy, whether it's indirect or direct or whatever, and then figure out what is the right level that we should be operating together as, okay? So that's the overall governing body. Again, here's the Inc. BAE Systems Inc. names. So again, if you get a copy of the presentation here they are, and I'm somewhere, hopefully I'm still on that. I can't even see where I'm at, but, oh, there you go, bottom left, about 7 o'clock, okay. Okay, so those two bodies have set what we as a company are going to focus on over the next 1 to 5 years, okay? So that's really what I want to talk about specifically to the suppliers in the room and potential suppliers, is where we are headed from a supply chain perspective, and what things we, all the directors of the procurement or supply chain related kinds of activities, what we're focusing on. Here they are. Here's a summary, and I'll talk a little bit about each one on the upcoming slides. Okay, business winning, people organization, supplier and relationships, category management, policy and processes, and procurement information and technology. Lots of the things are right up, Dan mentioned all the stuff, long-term agreements, lean, pushing it down, growing, moving up the value. Those are right in our sweet spot of the things that we're trying to do, have been doing, and continue to try to do. And then I'll just try to touch upon the, the very specific things that we're doing. Okay, business winning. It's changed. The world has changed from from 5 years ago to today, from economic perspective, from a congressional perspective, from defense budgets, from sole source to we're opening this up to competition again. It's changed. So there is a very high level of attention to business winning. Again, we all want to grow our businesses and take market share, et cetera. So, we've always done this, but there is a lot of very senior folks working on this. And the things behind it will also, again, contribute to our ability to win business and our ability to provide businesses to our suppliers, and vice versa. Your ability to perform and come up with unique strategies and cost methodologies and solutions, I'll say solutions rather than not just a cost, but a total cost solution that is best, really is absolutely essential to our ability to win business. Okay, so there's we have again, people, a specific one person dedicated to that, and then it's in all of our objectives. People and organization. We are about people. We, I was talking to somebody about their services business. Okay? And it's very obvious when you're a services business that the people are your business. And when you have a lot of factories and plants and stuff, it's not as obvious, I don't think, to people that the people are still the key to the business, but they are. And specifically in the supply chain, we spend a lot of time on training, even in declining markets. We're training. We're trying to attain a certain degree of certification and professional credentials, and providing the training to do so for all our folks that are subcontract folks or buyers or anybody that's relating to the supply chain. So that's a big focus, is people, opportunities, and development. Supplier and relationship management. Okay, if you heard the panel discussion yesterday, you heard the example that I used with that one example where we are trying to align our technologies with our suppliers. And all of that is about relationship and trust and knowing the person face to face, and they know who you are, and they know if you say something, they know it's true, and they know, and you feel confident and comfortable to say, I just don't know the answer to that. I think it's here, but it could be here, or it could be here as far as future levels of business. So all those things contribute to supplier relationships, in addition to the performance stuff. We definitely have to have good information, risk mitigation, know historically what the ability of our suppliers have been able to provide from quality and cost and technology and all those kinds of things. So again, but a lot of focus on this relationships and suppliers. Category management and sourcing strategy. That's again very similar to the stuff that Dan was talking about from the Boeing perspective, is long-term agreements, segmenting the business, and here are the things we're going to do long-term agreements. Here are the things we're going to do technology roadmaps that are more strategic. So there's a whole, again, organization and parts of people's jobs that are surrounding what is the right level of category management, and what's the right sourcing strategy for every single thing to get them on agreement. Exactly what Dan was quoting: 80 to 90% of the parts. Okay, and it could be, for example, we did aluminum and steel. We buy a lot of metal for our armored vehicles. We did that one, initially, we did that at a BAE Systems Inc. level. But if you looked at the pictures, there's submarines being built, there's ships being built, there's aircraft being built over in the UK and other locations. We have to take that up a level and act as a global entity there, okay, over time. Next is policy and processes. I talked about the balance that you walk as a big business that has different businesses underneath it between mandating stuff and standardization versus letting folks do their thing and go succeed. So we're trying to minimize the mandated policies, but have a series of best practices. One of which is life cycle management, which is a overarching framework that governs how we, from the very beginning of a program, from the time it's a seed in some business development person's head that say, maybe I should talk to a customer about this, that takes you through a series of gates to say, yep, let's proceed with this. And then you get to the next level. Should we do a proposal on it? And there's a nice framework that's not too rigid, but to take it through. So anyway, there's lots of supply chain activities in there. So again, this is all about balance between top-down mandate versus letting the businesses do the things that they need to do. And then the last one is information and technology. We have to have good information when we deal with suppliers, and it has to be very efficient, and they have to trust it and believe it, and et cetera, okay? So we have, at one point in time, we probably had, I guess, 50 ERP systems globally, and probably 20 in the US, and now we're continuing on a path to be more consistent and act as a single business. And then, want to talk about the summary of this, which is we are a global company, we're leaders, we're a strong company, but however, we depend on you folks. The C, we believe in it. That is those kind of things. We need our suppliers to do the best things that they can and be the leanest they can and shorten the lead times and all those motherhood and apple pie things so that we can be the best supplier to our customer. And so we believe me, totally understand how critical you folks are and are to our success. We have to figure out how we can help you. That's the message. Fully encourage everyone to be, again, go down these paths of lean and communications with the customer. Okay, so I'd like to leave it with the last bullet, which is weird, especially with the newspapers these days, with the stuff at Penn State and Citadel. We are absolutely committed to ethics and integrity. We had BAE Systems had a thing in the papers, over in the UK probably started 10 years ago or so, but so BAE Systems started this path a long time ago. That is like, you have to feel confident that you can just do the right thing in the face of anything, and BAE Systems has, to their credit, created that culture. And we want the suppliers to feel the same way. Suppliers can call our ethics hotlines if they feel that there's anything that does not feel right. Well, no fear of penalty or whatever. Okay. With that, if there are any questions, I'll be glad to field them or attempt to.
John, I've got a question for you. Along the lines of supply chain integration, if you can, in the Boeing presentation, there was some specific discussion about strategies for offloading packages and the impact that would have on this supplier base. Could you comment on that if you could?
Yep, absolutely. So I'm not sure if it was a bullet in one of the slides or not, but there is a very big focus on make, buy, in-source, outsource going forward, okay? We can't be everything to all people. I mean, we already have we have a lot of diverse businesses there. We want to focus on the things that we have strategic and competitive advantage over. And we know that there are folks out there that, okay, they can do this a lot better than we can. Take it off our hands. To take these, 100 parts and take them all. You figure it out, package it, come, just show up on our, our Bradley fighting vehicle line, and we don't have to worry about it. We've already done lots of stuff like that. Nashua and their businesses, the electronic systems part of the business, has a relationship with two distributors that supplies all the parts in-house under various kinds of vendor-managed inventory solutions to all their parts, and it's probably 90% of the parts. And we just got out of the way of that, which buyers can focus on strategic stuff. And by the way, there's all kinds of rippling benefits from a system perspective. There's way less transactions. You're just dealing with a kit of parts instead of, there's one transaction for a kit as opposed to 100 transactions for 100 parts. And it's there when it's needed, and that's when we pay and all those kinds of things. And the supplier loves it. They're right in plant. They have the daily communications about really what's here, what's not there, what's coming, et cetera. So there's we have lots of that already, pockets of that, of excellence there. We're trying to do that more. And it's all related to our make, buy, and what we want to focus on and gives us advantage versus what other people can do better than us and can just take those headaches away from us.
John, yesterday when you were on the panel, you were talking about getting together with some of your key suppliers, and you were saying something about suppliers being here and here, and this collaboration you had with them to bring them to the center, and also BAE coming to the center as well, but you didn't have time to go into the details of that. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So I will. The specific technology was FPGAs, which are a very expensive, sophisticated device that go into our electronics, and it's the core piece that are $1,000 a piece in some cases. In lots of our sophisticated electronics. Again, that's the business that makes countermeasures and radars and jammers and all those kinds of things. We had, first of all, there was an alternate technical solution, but I'm not going to start with that. I'm going to just start with, we got all the engineers together and all the supply and all the procurement together and quality and et cetera. And we talked about, okay, where are we going to go? Okay, we decided on FPGAs. So actually, let me back up. The first trick was getting the key engineers together and the key procurement folks from across many businesses into a room together, working together. So that was key number one, step number one. After that, we decided, then we just went out. Then it was just a normal sourcing thing. It wasn't rocket science. It was, where are we going? Okay, here's where we're going. Here's the level of business. Here's the this, here's the that. And we went out to the key FPGA suppliers and manufacturers and said, well, where are you going? And there were certain FPGA technologies, and this company was going that way, et cetera. The one company that ended up, we developed a relationship with, they altered their strategy. They altered their foundries, they altered they're very commercial, they altered their whole logistical approach to things. And they went this way because they were interested in the aerospace business. This was a win for them, not just from the level of business, but because we were leading edge. We sold our insight, right? They got to see, wow, aerospace and defense, they are really leading edge at at this kind of sophisticated electronics. It's stuff you don't even hear about in the commercial sector till 5 years afterwards sometimes, right? So they went from this to that. We went from here, it's like, oh, that's a much better strategy than we were. And it developed into, that was 2004. I've lost touch, but it was rolling strong in 2009. And it was such a, I mean, it was literally a 2-page document. That was the most beautiful thing, was how simple it was, because it was like, we are working with you as a relationship, you are working with, yep, handshake, and we, just went on. And it was beautiful, it was best thing I was ever involved with from a supply chain perspective. Looking forward, we've now structured an organization which we're calling category management in the land and armaments business, which is doing exactly those kinds of things. In land and armaments, it's going to be, engines, axles, windows, those kinds of things. In the electronics business, it's FPGAs or capacitors or circuit boards or whatever, So that was the one awesome example, and we're trying to do more of that going forward. So that's the category management is the more sophisticated, expensive, unique stuff. And then the commodity management or global sourcing or whatever, that's the, a notch down from strategic, not from strategic, from a complexity standpoint. It's the next level of technology down from that, okay?
Dan here was talking about Boeing micromanaging their suppliers. Is that the same strategy that BAE is taking?
I have no comment on Boeing's strategy. They're a very successful company that has done a lot of great things over the years, and we are proud to be a supplier to them from some of our businesses. Our approach to the suppliers is they know what they're doing. You know what you're doing? The competitive forces, well, those suppliers that are positioning themselves in lean, some kind of technology advantage, et cetera, those are the suppliers that we're looking for, And then we just want to get out of the way. We don't want to have to deal with it, literally. It's like it's the whole empowerment thing. It's whether you're working with folks that report directly into you, or it's a team, a lean team out in the production floor, or whatever. My whole approach is, you have a problem? Okay, how are you going to solve it? Great, go away and solve it. Just, I do trust you. I want to, we have to earn each other's trust on that. But boy, once it's earned, we're good to go. Okay, but that's our approach, not dictatorial. Yeah, it's no fun. That is the least fun part of the job. It's a necessary evil sometimes.
Hi, John. This is a question that's probably on everyone's mind, in this room, and it's not directly related to lean, but I wanted to get BAE's perspective on this. If you were watching the news this morning, this super committee, has got a week to make some decisions about a $1 trillion cut over the next 10 years. BAE, being a major defense contractor. And yesterday in the panel we were talking about aligning strategies between customers and the supply chain. Does BAE are you guys doing anything in particular? Or are you doing a wait and see kind of strategy? Are there any things that maybe you could provide insight to us that you could impart some wisdom possibly? Because we're trying to do our own thing and trying to figure out the whole thing, but be just curious to see what BAE's perspective is.
So you're asking about our relationship with our customers?
Yes.
Okay, and the whole congressional thing. So we have a whole organization of government relation folks, and believe me, they have their fingers on the pulse of Capitol Hill and have all the relationships and We have lots of ex-military who know all the right people and just trying to, steer the industry in the best way possible. And I'm not saying something that's, favorable to BAE Systems that's unfavorable to the U.S. government or taxpayers or et cetera. But we definitely want to do the right thing for the country. I mean, that is, that's a guiding principle. As a supplier, I don't know if you folks are familiar with the Aerospace Industry Association, but we're a big member there. And that's a collection of folks, big primes and all kinds of levels of suppliers and throughout all the tiers that get together and really discuss these kinds of things and go as a collection of, here's the aerospace message, and there's lots of things around, it's like a national treasure. Our U.S. aerospace industry is like a national treasure that we have to protect and maintain. So the shorter answer to your question is we have our own government relations, which is a direct BAE Systems to Congress and folks in the Pentagon, et cetera. And then we're a big participant in the AIA, which is a collection of people that also is connecting those dots and making sure the message is that we believe they should be hearing, or at least being heard while they're making these decisions.